effectively inspire your students to heed your words. Each of you should consider it his duty to pursue research in your own field of study, for you will thereby bring renown, renown both upon yourselves and upon the institution. On many occasions during recent years, we have had the opportunity to speak to our students. We must trust we trust that our love and consideration for them and the deep interest which we feel in their progress has been felt and understood today. I hadn't felt and understood. Today we have the, we have dictated our home, which we receive from our noble Father, to their service as a free gift to the nation, in our hope that we thus contribute to the community, up to the opportunity for them to spare for fruitful careers. We ask that each student who passes through these halls devote himself to the development of his mind and body, his mental and physical prowess, so as to be better to able serve his country and his fellow countrymen. Choose the field of study which best suits your talents. Continue unwavering in your diligent studies. Prepare yourself for the service in whatever profession you may best be fitted. God grant you success. First graduation experiences of Haile Selassie University. Academic freedom, unless it conforms to the common good of the society in which it is expected to be experienced, is meaningless. Inasmuch as your country has provided you with this special opportunity, you are duty bound upon your graduation to devote all your knowledge to the betterment of your motherland. What is expected of you is not academic achievement alone. In fact, it is at the expense of the government that you have been educated. What is expected from you is commensurated with the extent of your knowledge. Education is not an end in itself, but an aid to assist you in distinguish between good and evil, between the harmful and the useful. Academic attainment, untested by practical experience, does not put one in any better position than that of the uneducated. Higher education entails comparatively higher responsibility or obligation. The purpose of university training is to produce people capable of achieving the progress and progress and advancement of the nation. People of such caliber are expected to possess deep insight, high academic discipline, and intellectual zeal to crave and search for truth, to know not only the causes but also effective remedies for any ills that affect the society. Unless one is guided by such noble objectives, to know not only the means and how to expound them in vain words, but also to present effective solutions and accomplish them. The possession of degrees alone does not classify anyone as fully educated. This is particularly so that this period, crowded as it is with continuous change and improvement. Moreover, moreover, since our educational system is essential based upon the experience of other countries, the impact of modernization could create contractions in our long-standing African traditions. We can only lay a sure and stable foundation towards rapid progress for Africa if we foresee the consequences of every step in its true aspect and try to apply effective and appropriate methods to the problems of each country. Coordination necessary. We have never failed to observe this approach in all stages of achievement. In the past, the very valid proof of this is that although it is more than a decade since institutions of higher learning have been established in Ethiopia, there has always been sound cooperation between the administrative bodies of the students. The basis of this cooperation has been a collective effort for the common goal. The interest of the country always paramount. In the future, also, it is our wish and determination that all higher studies shall be coordinated and guided by this university. Ethiopia is endeavoring, like many other countries, to achieve a high stage of technology progress in this period of concentrated effort. She cannot afford to be handicapped by trivial problems based on selfish motives. The world today has become oriented to science, which has developed and progressed to a remarkable extent. Apart from the will of the Almighty, in this 20th century, peace is determined by the will of the technological advancement. Nations which do dominate the sentiments of mankind by this privileged position intend on freeing themselves from such fear and insecurity in developing countries that are using the level of progress of these advanced nations as the yardstick of their own progress. Developing nations, however, must first obtain their own progress. Must first obtain the basic standard of civilization by stamping out literacy through mass education. To be able to provide mass education, cooperation, peaceful coexistence, and dedication to the common good are needed. Because to arrive at higher scientific achievement, one has to discipline one's mental attitude and work with the aim of being the recipient of true knowledge, So far, the continuous cooperation of our people and the small carried of elite we have produced have have enabled us to devise successful shortcuts in guiding our country towards the goals of progress. One such message would one such mess one such method was side by side with educational expansion by launch simulate simultaneous more than one programming of development by acquiring the services of skilled foreign experts and establishing industrial and other development schemes without waiting until we had our own qualified experts. This university, which today is granted your degrees and diplomas, is in itself the fruit of such combined effort which we have made in the past. The need for home training. You also know that to be able to have your own qualified people, even before establishing local institutions of higher learning, we have been sending students abroad for advanced studies, and there are many who have come back and are rendering disinterested service to their country. One of the many purposes of which we have established this university is to have a greater number of qualified service, and those who will come come in the future, and thus to have a larger corps of trained people, not completely divorced from our traditional heritage. Although a few learned people of our own are returning from foreign lands, we have foreseen and are convinced that our country pace of progress can only be accelerated if there is a high influx of educated Ethiopians at one and the same time. Economically, also, the expenditure needed to help a single student through higher studies abroad is quite sufficient to train the number of students logically. And reason why higher studies on a larger scale were impossible in the past was mainly this: foreign training was very expensive, but we believe that it is clear to everyone that the establishment of our own university will give us great and valuable opportunities for expanding in higher education in Ethiopia. In addition to this, It has a significant economy contribution in that it helps us to save foreign exchange, which foreign exchange. Um, foreign exchange, which we need for investment in other fields by avoiding the transfer of money abroad to finance our students studying in foreign lands. You must probably know that there are many great men produced in their own home institutions of higher learning, and as much as higher educations need much money, the expansion of higher learning is one of the major problems facing developing and economically poor countries. Hence, it can be said that their pace of development is highly determined by this single factor. In the case of Ethiopia, the only buried of the torch of freedom for the rest of America in the past to prove that she is not behind in pursuit of modern education. Also, she is obligated to give opportunity of access to education not only to a few but to as many as possible.